Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Me versus Me. I am Patrick Nzanzi.
And I'm Herman Madimba. Welcome.
Welcome, welcome. Okay, today's theme basically is going to be a series basically that we're going to do. It's going to be called Breaking the Cycle. And this one is called Why Do I Keep Going Back? Now, sometimes we come out of situations like from the previous session that we did. We spoke about what did we speak about? It was toxic. That's what I said. Toxic. Identify toxic situations, what you can do in toxic situations, and how you can come out of toxic situations. However, at times when people come out of jail or prison, sometimes a year later, 6 months later, you hear that they're back in jail again, they're back in prison again, and sometimes it's due to committing the same crime that they committed previously. Now, I don't think that anyone just decides that I'm going to come out just so I can do the same thing to get myself back in there. Yeah, there are certain reasons as to why certain people tend to repeat the same thing, why certain cycles tend to repeat themselves, why certain people end up going back into toxic situations, why certain people end up going back into things that were poisonous to them, bad for their health, whether physically, mentally, emotionally, or even spiritually. It could be jail, prison, it could be a relationship, it could be a certain job that's not good for you, a career path that's not good for you, or just certain relationship that's not good for you. So today, basically, we're going to discuss some of the reasons as to why people struggle to break the cycle, and at times people don't even identify that a cycle needs to be broken. And the danger of that is that sometimes you'll find that it repeats itself not just in them, but in their children sometimes as well, or to people who look up to them as well. So if someone looks up to you, they're gonna follow what you do to a certain degree. Even if it's bad, but because they look up to you, they may not see it as that bad simply because you are doing it. Now, I could do wrong, but it may not be seen as wrong in the eyes of someone who actually looks up to me simply because I'm doing it. It makes the crime or the deed look less negative or less dangerous simply because I'm the one who's doing it. So with that, first of all, what are some of the reasons, in your opinion, as to why negative cycles are hard to be broken, and why do people tend to go back into a situation that they came out of physically? Yeah, I repeat that. Yeah, that they came out of physically.
I think you use the word there, cycle.
Yeah.
And a cycle is something that keeps on happening.
Yeah.
Whether good or bad. When we spoke about the toxic, the last one we did, one of the examples I mentioned the example of like an abusive relationship.
Right.
I said, how many times have you seen a woman that's been physically abused, and then she calls the police on her husband or her partner or whatever.
Yeah.
And then by the time the police come, when it's time to press charges, most of them don't press charges.
Yeah.
Because they feel some kind of compassion for the man. It's kind of twisted, but they feel some kind of compassion immediately, even though they know that once the police leave, the punishment, is going to continue, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that's immediately again going back to the cycle. Now, some of the reason why they keep going back again, you see, sometimes again in a sickening way, people can become addicted to the negative cycle.
Yeah.
You spoke about someone who leaves prison, but yet they end up going back after 6, 8, 9 months. Why? Because they've gone back into the cycle of crime, and at times even when they commit the crime and they go back, at times when they commit the crime and they get arrested again, then they'll start talking a different talk. Well, prison is easy anyway. It's going to be an easy ride. I need to go in prison anyway. Sometimes I'm like, do you really mean what you're saying? Again, like their flesh is like, yeah, I don't care. I'm going to go back. I'm going to ride it out, and I'm going to come out again or whatever. So, it takes a different kind of thinking to be able to say those kind of things. That you want to go back into being isolated. You want to go back to a system where you are being controlled.
Yeah.
a system that does not benefit you, you know. So once you leave a negative situation, what do you fill yourself with? That's the most important thing. And that's why to break a cycle, it means a change of everything, you know. Even if you can't change the scenery, maybe you can't change your house or whatever, but in your mindset, it might be change of mindset. Definitely will be change of mindset. Anyway, not might change your mindset. Even the people you hang around with, the people that talk the same language, you might have to change that mindset. If you go back to being abused again, the abuse example again, maybe before when you got abused, your friends were telling you, "Oh, stay. Why are you going, man? You're married. You need to go." Maybe you need to change those friends. Maybe you need to stop listening to those friends that are telling you stay. You know, because maybe you're gonna get killed if you go back. But if you leave, let's say you leave that relationship permanently or that marriage, you separate permanently, but then there's nothing to fill the void. You know, remember you have not broken the cycle, but you're trying to break. But then the person will be calling you, "Oh, you need to come, you need to come, you need to come, you need to come." And then your friends are also telling you, "Come on, you're a Christian woman, you're a godly woman. Like, you don't do that. You need to go back." You're not being abused for 1 week, 2, 3, 4 weeks. You know, I don't want to say you miss it, but it's almost like the flesh enjoys kind of the being dominated or being controlled. I don't know.
It could be that you miss it. Sometimes you can miss the wrong thing. You can miss something that's wrong for you. Yeah, and you miss things. You only miss what you've been attached to for a long time. What's become routine, what's become a part of you. Once you don't have it, you're going to miss it. Hence why people have withdrawal syndromes.
Withdrawal symptoms.
But missing doesn't necessarily mean right or positive. It can be negative as well. It's the intentions are good. However, you can miss something that's wrong for you, but carry on.
Yeah, that is very, very true. It's almost like you are not longing for it. You know, you're not hearing the person's voice ordering you about, telling you things, and then but yet you are still your friend's marriage, but you are thinking, "Oh, can I really leave this marriage?" You know, and next thing you know, more than likely you will come back because you have not chosen to broken the cycle. Maybe you have said that, "Okay, I've had enough and everything," but you have not chosen to broken the cycle. Again, to choose to break a cycle is a big step. It's a big, massive step, you know, especially if you're, you know, a Christian woman, Christian person, because of the spiritual implication that comes with it. Because remember that when you're in a cycle, you are stuck. You know, you are stuck now. And if you try to go back, the chances are you're going to be pulled back in. You're going to be pulled back in, especially someone you have a soul tie. If we talk about marriage here, for example, you know, so it's going to be very difficult. The chances are you are going to be pulled back in because they're going to want to pull you back in. You will not even know, but spiritually, the rope is already attached to you. So how do you break that? You're not about saying, "Oh, I'm gone, that's it." No, already you be praying about it, but it will be twisted because before the prayer, your friends have been talking to you that you need to go back, man. You know, maybe even the family, "Oh, this man has paid your dowry. You want to leave? You're not going anywhere." You know, if you then give back the dowry, then in that case, give back the dowry. So they're putting all that pressure on you. And now you have now prioritized other people's opinion over the truth of what you should do. And that's what happened. That's what people do tend to go back to negative cycles, you know. And then it's like, "Okay, well, let me just go and compromise." Then you see, you've not thought about yourself anymore. You've looked around, you've listened to the wrong advice because you have not gone out of the circle. Because if you stay in the same kind of circle, then the cycle is more than likely to continue. That is a fact. We've seen it so many times. The other day, I used the example of what's his name, R. Kelly. Some of the girls that left in that Netflix documentary. I saw one of the women that she went to pick up a daughter. A couple of weeks later, the daughter went back. What do you mean you went back to what? Someone that gives you buckets to use as a toilet, but you went back to that until she finally came out again. I mean, what? How do you explain that? You know, how do you explain that? There's something called Stockholm syndrome. Those who are psychologists, they will know about it. Psychiatrists, Stockholm syndrome. It basically means when what's it called? If I abduct somebody, and then after 2, 3, 4, 5 days, 2, 3, 6 weeks, or whatever, that person that becomes attached to me. Yeah, that's how that term was born. Stockholm syndrome. I think it was a bank robber. They went to rob somebody. They went to rob a bank, and then the hostages became attached to the robbers. Someone so they even.
So when you robbed it, did you keep them hostage?
Yeah. For a while, for a good while.
How long was it? Hours or days?
Oh, it was days. It was days. Yeah, you went on, and then when they got caught, that's one of the examples of it. Anyway, I don't know if it started from there, but it's one of the examples of it. Yeah. When they got caught, even the abductor, he said that they should have. The reason I didn't kill them is because I myself became attached to them. They should have given me chances to kill them because they did everything I told them to do. And plus, what kept them hostage was filthy, so we had no choice but to get to know each other. And even the abducted, the one that are being held captive, they became drawn to them now. So they were not against the police arresting those guys. They're actually even willing to join them. Yeah. It's called your Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. So that's how twisted it can be, going back to cycles. That's why you could see a woman that gets beaten up. She'll defend her husband to the hilt. She will defend the man. You know, what are you doing? You know, she'll defend the man 100% totally. You know, no matter how. Forget even marriage. Even couples that used to going out, you know, if the man orders the person about, the friends will tell you, maybe some friends will tell you about, are you sure this is the person you're going to marry? Look at the way he's controlling and that. Oh, but I like that though. I like that. You know, at least it shows that he cares and everything. You see the negative circles there already. Just like you said, you know, just because it feels good, it doesn't mean it's right. Mm-hmm. But they have such a passion for going back because it's what they are used to. So anything new becomes foreign to them. Mm. But again, hey, listen, it's a spiritual thing, man, to break cycles. It's a spiritual thing because once you're held captive, the enemy is not going to want to let go easily. Yeah. He will never let go easily. Once you have become his tool. So cycle situations. Oh, that's one of his best tricks. How many families are in cycles? Mm. You know, and the moment one tries to break out and become different, blah, 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 everybody starts talking. Why do you want to be different? This is how we do things in our home. Yeah. This is how we do things in this family. That's why the whole family can be going to church. Again, we spoke about it in the last toxic thing. The whole family could be going to church. You know, let's say even a pastor, head of the church, going to church with my family, but then me and my wife, we don't talk to each other. But in church, we sit at the front, as if we talk. But when we go back home, boom, we sleep in separate rooms. But we go to church happy. You know, a whole family could be going to church also, but yet they are still in bondage. But yet they are still going. They're going to. They don't want to disturb. Let's not disturb the gods of our families. No. Let's not disturb that. No, but you guys are in the cycle. But we fellowship with God. No, you don't want to break the cycle. So why are you going to church then? You know, but this shrine is my granddad. Some of them, they even still have talisman in their rooms. Wow. Oh, this one is your granddad gave it, so nobody touches that. That was the good luck charm for the family. But yet they are still going to church, you know. If you dare even try and tell them break it or whatever, you're in trouble. Mm-hmm. They're going to call disobedient. It was passed from generation. How many, especially some of our backgrounds where we are from. Yeah. We see that all the time. There are things some of our parents, uncles have in their rooms that they still don't want to touch, but yet they're still in church. And they wonder why the children, you look at the cousins, we are all in the same, what's going on here? You know? So you look at yourself, you look at your cousins, it's not going on, it's not happening. One gets married, boom, no engagement. Another gets married, miscarriage. Why? Because, that was the price. Because one person started something, a granddad or great uncle or something, and even though your parents became born again, but they're still following that thing. When you mention that thing, they are still scared. Yeah. Like, okay, what are you scared of exactly? You know, they've all done that. You know, everyone that's watching from, if your background is, you know what I'm talking about. You know, it's in every family. There's at least one. Even if you don't admit it, in every family, there's at least one. There is at least one. And because of that, everybody, is tied up, or the fight becomes harder. And before you come in, I say this thing and I'm going to say it again. Yeah. Our generation, we have the hardest job ever. Yeah, we do. Because not only do you have to break the circle that some of our, some of our parents have done, or forefathers or whatever, then we also have to start new circles for our children as well. It's not easy. So that's why when we experience delays, sometimes you have to hold on, because it's not easy. That's even harder than that. I know they will disagree. Yeah. I know they will disagree, but that even shows that spiritually they don't even understand the way they think they understand. Because they'll disagree, but no, they can't disagree because it's a hard job to break one and then start the other one. It's a hard job. To even break one, how hard is that, Because they're going to want to get involved in everything you do. They're going to want to try and get involved.
Yeah.
When you get married, okay, but when you get married, this is what I want to do. You want to do something kingdom, you want to do something. I ain't talking about the normal cultural stuff. No, I ain't talking about that. Okay, but before you do, let me just call this uncle back home so that he could pronounce some things. No, man, I can't. Okay, you don't have to be there, but you do. No. Don't pronounce nothing about me, even if I'm not there. No, don't call nothing. Don't call nothing. Otherwise, me too, I'll pray some prayers. If you drop, say it's none of my business, but just don't. But they still want to do that, It's because they themselves, they're addicted to this cycle. That even shows. But you are praying, you are fasting, why are you happy if everybody like in bondage or struggling to come out? So we have a hard job, our generation. I know our parents have done well, God bless them. Especially those of us, we are brought in this country. Some of them, they've done jobs they shouldn't have done just for us. They've done that very, very well. God bless them for that, But the spiritual side, if they are taking that side serious as well, oh, come on. We wouldn't have had this fight because we are fighting their fight now.
Yeah.
I know some will disagree, but listen.
It's the truth, though. It's the truth. Yeah, we are fighting fights. And like you said, our generation, we have it's a hard job because one, breaking out from certain cycles and traditions. Two, holding our ground and standing firm to say that we are not going to do this anymore.
It's not easy.
And then three, planting. So basically, we're uprooting in order to plant, basically. When you uproot, obviously, it leaves a hole in there. It's a void, and that hole needs to be filled. And if it's not filled, what's going to happen is it's going to go back to what it knows.
That's right.
I mean, if all you've known is abuse, I mentioned this in our last segment. If all you've known is abuse and that's all you've seen, once you come out of that, it's almost like being in a place where you had garments and you had warmth, you had heat, and then you get pushed out in the snow in winter with no clothes on. You're gonna feel that. You're gonna say, "What the heck is this?" This don't feel good. I need something to cover me right now, and the only thing that's ever covered me is where I came out from. So you're gonna go back to that, knowing that it's wrong, but not really acknowledging it. So, I mean, it's strange because certain people they can see that being beaten, being abused isn't right. They can see that it's not right. They can see that it's not good for them, but that's all they've known. Within them, there's a search within them, but what the issue is, they can't seem to find what it is that's gonna fill that. So in the same way, I always said that the younger generation, our generation who are extremely equipped to the point where I believe that some people in our generation, the generation before us, are jealous of the younger generation. I believe because they're so equipped, they're so advanced, even at a young age. So advanced. I mean, a 5-year-old can fully utilize a computer now. Utilize a phone. A 5-year-old.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't know how to switch. That's at the age of 5. At the age of 5 now. Imagine now. Caring to that 5-year-old, mentoring that 5-year-old. By the time they hit age 10, how advanced are they going to be? By the time they hit age 15, how advanced are they going to be? If we really cater to them properly, they'll be doing a lot. But right now, what's happening? Oh, boyfriend here, girlfriend there. Oh, pregnant here, pregnant there. Gang here, gang there. Oh, stab a person there, carrying guns, selling drugs. At what age? Age 12, they're already doing it. What? You're age 12 and your first offense is stabbing someone.
That's mad.
At 12, that's your first offense.
That's never funny.
How? Robbing people. What? At that age? At 11, you're robbing people? Where they're so advanced and so many things are available to them now. That wasn't. Certain things that were more private before that required parental consent are different now, because I remember the first CD that I ever bought. The first CD that I ever bought, I remember I went to it would have been, was it either W.H. Smith or Woolworth? Woolworths. Is it Woolworths or Woolworth?
Yeah, Woolworths.
Woolworths, yeah. Did they have one in the Old Trafford Centre?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. That's where Sainsbury's is now. Yeah, it was Woolworths. Yeah. I went there and I went to buy the first CD I ever bought back in. This was 1996, mid 96. Killing Me Softly by the Fugees. I went to buy it. They looked at me and they asked me how old I was. I told them how old I was. They said, "Sorry, you're too young. You can't buy this CD." Killing Me Softly.
Wow, can you imagine?
Yeah, they said that you're not like you need an adult to buy.
Can you imagine?
Why? Because it had a sticker that said explicit content.
Yeah, parental advice.
So I had to go get my friend Andrew, who was a lot taller than me back then. I'm taller than him now though. He's a lot taller than me. I'm like, Andrew, yeah, I need to buy, the Fugees, Killing Me Softly. Back then we were all Fugees fan. Like my whole road, like his family, myself, we went there and I gave him the money and I stood next to him and he bought it for me. That's how times were back then. When we used to watch music videos, the lyrics, like they used to record different versions of the song. So if a single came out, they would record the radio version, or they would change the words.
Change the words, yeah.
The big version would strictly be on the album. And if you want to go out and buy that album, as a youngster, you couldn't. You had to be with your parent. MTV Base or whatnot. So even when YouTube came out, you will all see the clean version. But now, they give you the raw material straight away. Kids are exposed to a lot more. Everything is out there. Everything is out there. I mean, you walk on the street, you see adverts of condoms, adverts of viral pills. It's just everywhere. It's everywhere. Whereas before they would have had to search. Okay, what can I find? It's right there. It's in your face. It's coming to your living room. It's on in the daytime. It's right there. Certain things required you to get cable, parental consent, and you had a password on there. Now everything is free.
Everything is free,
and available. So they're exposed to a lot more. That's why they're a lot more equipped. Now the issue is direction. They don't really have direction. When you're equipped and you have so much, but there's no sense of direction, that creates frustration. That creates frustration. It's like a racehorse in a cage full of potential, but they're not letting you run. You know you've got potential. You know that there's something that you need to do with this, but no one's directing you. So what's that's going to create it's going to be a search now. Okay, a search, and your lifestyle is going to become experimental. I've got this potential. I'm going to find something to do with it. I'm strong. I'm going to find something to do with it. Okay, I'm going to put my hand on someone. I join a gang, for example. Join a gang. Now, joining the gang requires you to be brave and bold. Yeah, that's a great quality. It requires strength some way, whether physical, mental, emotional, in regards to the things that you need to do, whether it's robberies that you're doing, whether it's fighting, opposing gangs, running from the police, running against your rivals chasing you, breaking into places, robbing stuff. I mean, all of that requires certain qualities to have. You can't be weak and be a part of that mentally, physically. You can't be weak. Yeah. Intellect plays a part in that. So these are all good qualities, but it's just that it's being used in the wrong lane. It's being used the wrong way. They're misguided somewhere. If they really had someone there to show them, okay, this is what you can do with your package, this is what you can build, this is the business you can start, and this is the income that you can generate from this, as opposed to risking your life by joining this gang, they wouldn't do it. You gotta think of the reason as to why they're actually joining this gang. You gotta think of some of the reasons as to why certain people decide to go back to a place that they came out from. Like you said earlier, certain people come out of jail or prison because, one, it's safe. So it's safety that they want. Everyone wants to be safe. However, there is safety in society. But it's just a matter of you being directed and you finding it. The safety that you get in prison is a false sense of safety because you're in bondage. Exactly. You want comfort. Okay, in prison, I had my bed, my food is cooked for me and whatnot. There's other ways to achieve that. I mean, safety, yes. Comfort, yes. But you can't allow comfort to be your lifestyle. Sometimes you need to come out of your comfort zone. Comfort shouldn't be permanent. it's supposed to be temporary because you don't want to become complacent, because then you're just going to live your life. You're going to be stagnant and you're not going to move forward. You're not going to grow. And if you get with someone, you have children, and that's what they see, they're going to believe that that's how life is supposed to be. However, if you have a child who just happens to have ambition, they're going to be frustrated living under your roof. They're going to be embarrassed at looking at you as a role model. I know some people who are embarrassed of their parents. It's very sad, but it's true. But I understand why they're embarrassed. Yeah. So they know that they've got all this potential. They know that they need a role model that's going to help them to utilize what they have. What they have at home isn't doing it. So they're going to search for it outside, and sometimes they end up in the wrong hands. Or someone who's going to get them to utilize what they have in a negative way, and then they end up in prison. What is it? There's a hole in them. There's something that's missing. There's something that's missing. So I'm never judgmental on people who want to do more out of life. Yeah. For those people out there, whether you're young or old, if you're hurting because deep inside yourself, you know you're crying because you're saying to yourself, there's got to be more than this. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah. It's just a matter of finding out. Yes, there is more. There's more to this, definitely. There's more to this, definitely. Yeah. Search for it. Keep searching. You'll find a way. You may not find it overnight. Anything that's great requires time. Yeah. Preparation, planning, laying out the correct blueprint. Even like we spoke about business plans last time. Yeah. It takes a while. Like I don't know too many people who are extremely enthusiastic about, oh great, I want to do a business plan. No. It's long. Yeah. And if you pay people for their service in order to do it, it's not cheap either. Because think about it, it's a business plan, it's a blueprint for your future. So it takes time. And as time goes on, certain changes, amendments are going to be applied to it based on what stage you're at in life and the direction that you need to go to. So blueprint needs to be laid out, because it's practically a map. Yeah, it's practically a map.
Yeah.
So once your blueprint is laid out and you know what you're supposed to do with your gifts, you know what your purpose is in life. Yeah, that's going to motivate you and encourage you to break the cycle. And before breaking the cycle, to identify that there's a negative cycle that needs to be broken first and foremost. You identify first. Okay, you know what? Now this is my blueprint in life. This is where I need to go. So that means that everything that's been going on for the past 20 years, ain't good for me. No wonder why I'm in this situation. So okay, I need to break this first of all. And secondly, you need to stand firm, because anything that you've been involved in for 20 years straight, 10 years straight, to a certain degree, it's become a part of you. Anything that you do repetitively becomes a habit. Yeah. Habit forms character. Character is a part of who you are. So you now need to recondition yourself by doing something. So remember, anything that you take out, you need to replace with. Take out and put something else in. If you just take out and you leave nothing in, you will go back to what you know, because that's all you know. Even if you talk, if we bring the Bible into it, Jesus says in the Bible, when an unclean spirit leaves a person, what does it do? It goes around, looking for places. And if it doesn't find anywhere, and it comes back to where it came from, and it finds it empty, it comes back with 7 stronger. You see what I'm saying? So it ends up going back to where it came from. Yeah. So stand firm, identify there's a negative cycle. Yeah. Break the cycle. Stand firm on your decision. However, have something in plan to fill that void. Yeah. Yeah. We all need people. We all need. Yeah. We're not God. We didn't create ourselves. We need affection. We need guidance. We need knowledge. We need wisdom. We need all these things. We need safety. We need protection. We need encouragement. We all need all of these things. And if we don't have it, we're going to end up taking the only thing that's available. And that's why certain people will end up going back to what they know. Lay down a new blueprint and you know that, okay, right now, this has been taken out. I need this now. I need knowledge regarding this particular thing based on where I need to go. Apply that and just take it one step at a time. Yeah. And you're going to get there. You're going to get there. Okay, you want to be in a relationship. Okay, why do you want to be in a relationship? Some people don't stop to ask themselves that. Some people can't bear to be single. Like they just can't. So based on that, they'll just get with any and anyone. Yeah, but you know what? It's better than being alone. Really? Why? Why are you afraid of being alone? Yeah? These are questions that we need to ask ourselves. Why are some people afraid to be by themselves? What happens when you're by yourself? Like, I mean, I'm asking that because I literally don't know. There's a reason as to why some people are afraid of being by themselves. Yeah? Confront that. That's a problem because you should enjoy your own company. Yeah? If you don't like you, why should I? Once I get in a relationship with you, what is it about you that you don't like?
You're right.
That you can't bear? What is it about your own company that you don't like, that you can't bear? But now that I'm with you, I should embrace your company when you don't even like it yourself.
Yeah.
Like, let me know.
Yeah.
So that's the question of it. What don't you like about yourself that you feel like you need to cover up with a relationship? I'm in a relationship now, so I'm not alone. That's all that matters. He beats me, he treats me wrong. She beats me, she treats me wrong. Yes, it happens to men too. They get abused too. It's just that they're not gonna say it. Suicide rates are high with men for a reason. We blow things up.
Very true.
Ego.
Very
so
true.
What is it? Why do we keep on doing it?
So true. So true.
What is it about yourself that you don't like? I don't know. Like, do you hear voices when you're by yourself? I don't know. Do you get flashbacks of certain things that happen to you when you're by yourself? So is that why you get in a relationship, so that it numbs down those voices that you hear? Yeah, it suppresses those flashbacks, those memories. Why is it? What's the reason as to why you just want to be with someone? Yeah. Oh yeah, you're good looking. Fine, compliment. Oh, I want to be with you. Fine, but why? I just want to be. So it's not what you want, it's the reason behind it. It's your motive. Your motive for being in a relationship. Your motive for being in a relationship. Long term, what do you see? Some people, long term does not exist. It's just the here and now. Right now, I just want to be in a relationship. Yeah. Some people say, you know what, yeah, Kyle, I need a man to help me financially. I need a woman to. That could be their reason. Yeah. Is that a good enough reason? No. So if that man loses their job, then what? What do you do then?
Another one.
What do you do then? They'll break up and then they'll go and find someone. So that cycle continues. So that probably means that you have a poverty mindset. That's why your motive for being in a relationship is just to have someone to help you out financially.
So true.
Yeah. What do you do for yourself?
It's so true.
What are you doing for yourself? You've got the ability to do it too. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with getting help. Everyone needs help. Yes, in many ways, we all need help. With our peers, with businesses, financially, we all need help. But as far as being an individual, what are you doing? What are you bringing to the table, first and foremost? Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. You need to have something as an individual before you can bring it as a part of a team. You have to be skilled. I can't have no skills at all in football and then be a part of a team. Why should I get recruited? They're going to see how I perform individually, what skills I have individually, before they can decide how I'm going to contribute to the team. Contribute. In order to contribute, you need to have something. Because otherwise, if I come with my no skill, I then become a weak link to the team. So I will weaken the team. And that's what's happening with some people. They've got together and as a unit, they don't function well. They become weak because that one individual has become a leech. A parasite into the situation where you're supposed to be a helping hand, but you ended up doing the opposite. Why? Oh, I want someone to help me. Oh, can I have this? Give me this, give me that. Men do it to women, women do it to men. It happens. It happens. I need to be someone. Why? So that I can vent and tell them my problems. So you have so many negative things to complain about, and you need someone to be there so that they can hear it. And then they're constantly taking that in, negativity. If they keep taking it in, it becomes a part of them. There's certain people where once you start talking about positive things, laughing and joking, they get uncomfortable and they start frowning on it. Oh, what are they so happy about? Oh yeah, whatever. They will speak down on people's achievements.
Yes.
They'll speak down on people's achievements. If you're laughing, you're in a good mood. They'll get back. They'll get paranoid. Why they're laughing at? They're laughing at me. What's wrong with them? Have you got a problem? I remember once I was having a function at my house for one of my birthdays. People were having a good time, but because someone had a certain issue with someone else, the fact that people were having a good time with one another, they decided to get up and leave the room and go into a different room. Oh, yeah, I felt like they were laughing at me. Why? Why?
Oh my God!
Your
Did I just hear that?
Yeah, that's your individual problem that you have.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
They probably don't even know that you've got a problem with them. They don't. When you feel like they'll laugh at, no, if you don't like them, say you don't like them. Yeah, like because you don't like them, you can't bear to see them in a good mood, having a good time. The problem is you. So with an individual like that, if you get with them, that means that you're gonna have to inherit their enemies, the people who they don't like. If you like them, just know that you better stop liking them from the moment you get in a relationship with this other individual.
Yeah.
Some people's friendships or the foundation of their relationship is founded on having a common enemy. We're friends because we have the same, we dislike the same person.
So
look, with me, if I'm at peace with someone and you don't like that individual, and then that causes a problem in our relationship, the best thing to do is to cut me off. Yeah, I will not inherit people's beefs for no reason. If I'm at peace with someone, respect the fact that I am at peace with that individual. Yeah. As a matter of fact, it's an asset because I could be the bridge between you and that individual making peace. I could be. Yeah. You guys may be better off not being close or whatnot. That's fine. Yeah. That's why I said I could be. However, do not enforce your beef with them on me. With some people, it's like that. Oh, what to give now? Well, if you're really my man, then you consider my feelings. That if I have a problem with someone, how can you be friends with them? Some people will actually manipulate you into that, to the point where you start to cut those people off and you start speaking with them. It happens.
That's crazy.
Like, yo, what happened to Jason? Yeah, he was cool, but then since he got with that girl, it's just like they don't really speak.
Human beings, man.
Yeah, what's up with Chantel? Yeah, she was around, she was cool and that, but as soon as she's got with her boyfriend, she just
people do that.
Some people do that. They will fully do that. Why? Because the individual who they are with are repeating a certain cycle that they can't come out of. So it's about feeling. Feeling. Recognize what's wrong. Recognize where you need to go in life. I mean, if you don't know where you're gonna go in life, you're not gonna be able to find out what you need to replace that negativity with. Hence, the cycles are going to keep repeating itself. Because we don't want to get to the point where we're telling the younger generation, look, man, don't make the same mistakes that I made. When I was your age, this is what I did, and I regret it. And when I was being told by my elders I wasn't listening, I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made. So, should we expect them to not listen because they're young, and then once they get to a certain age, they then regret, and then they then say it to the generation of after them? No, that cycle needs to break. That cycle's got to break. Just because I saw, you saw your mother being beaten by her father, is that normal? Does that mean that if you get with someone, you need to experience the same thing as well? No. Make that change now. So that's why I agree with you when you said that our generation, I call our generation the bridge generation. Why? Because we're connected to both the ones before us, and we're very much connected to the younger generation. We can relate to them. They can't. They and I mean that with no disrespect whatsoever. They cannot relate to them. That's why when they try and reach out to them, they end up just judging and criticizing, and then it just causes more of a separation.
Definitely the bridge.
Electric fences.
We are definitely the bridge.
I remember I went to a workshop. It was about knife and crime. I was there, and some parents were there as well, and they were trying to understand, why did they carry knife? But they were very judgmental and just criticizing. Okay, it's fair enough. You don't understand why they're doing it. When you don't understand, the best thing to do is keep quiet. Let them speak. There were young people. There were some that weren't speaking out of respect. They didn't want to say anything because they didn't want to be judged. If I'm in a room and I don't understand the language, why the heck am I opening my mouth and talking for? If you don't understand, sit back, sit down, let the people talk, and then let someone translate and interpret. You can't speak their language. And when I say their language, I'm not referring to English, but I'm talking about language that they understand. Some of them have to live two different lifestyles. When they come home, is Jerry. When they step out, it's J Boogie. Two different people.
Yeah.
You don't know.
That's so true.
Carrying out what you're carrying out, and then I remember the conclusion. One of the moms said, "Okay, so can we agree that carrying a knife makes you a coward?" Yeah. Why? Yeah, it's a coward. You're a coward. If you're carrying a knife, you're a coward. Really? I mean, you've got your reason as to why you're saying that.
But does she have a point?
Coward. Okay. Why? What does it make you a coward? Why are they carrying a knife? And who is she talking to? Yeah. When you make that statement, who are you talking to? Are you generalizing?
Yeah.
There you go. So when you generalize, you've lost. No, the moment you've generalized, you've lost. All men are dogs. Generalizing. You've lost. Africans are this. You've lost. Jamaicans are this. You lost. Indians are you've lost. Caribbeans are you've lost.
Yeah.
Christians are you've lost. Muslims you've lost by the time you've said that. Who are you talking about? How can you solve my individual problem by generalizing it? Using examples of people that you don't even know. If this particular individual carried a knife, what's their story? You don't know. Now you're a coward. If they had people waiting for them around the corner, 5 people with weapons, and they had to get somewhere to go to hospital to see their mother, and that's the only way they could go, and they carried a knife, not to attack. Yes, you're putting yourself in a predicament by carrying a knife. Yes, but your reason is I'm not going out to kill anyone. However, I know that there's a certain obstacle that's there, so I'm going to utilize this to nullify that situation so that I can get to where I need to get to. Is he a coward? Think about it. Am I saying that that's the only way out? I don't know. However, if there's another way out of that situation, please, let's hear it. We don't want to hear your nonsense, your silly, judgmental opinions, criticizing. No, if there's a way out, let us know. As opposed to just, what are you doing? Now, if that person, that young person, only knows that this knife is the only thing that's going to get them out of the way. If that's all they know, that's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. So how do we break that cycle? That's all they know. If they don't have a relationship with the ones above them, that's the problem. If we're not feeding them the right intake, if we're not interested in knowing them or understanding them, how can you help someone that you don't understand? You can't. You're gonna end up judging, and when we judge, bam, war automatically, and that's what's happened. So the fact that we can relate to them and we understand the previous generation with a bridge, that's why we've got a lot of work to do, and time is running out. But I believe that if we stay focused, we'll be able to do it. We'll be able to break that stuff. What we don't want then is for a repeat. It's for those regret speeches again. Regret cannot be our teacher all the time. Okay, you know what? Had I known, then I would have done things differently. Only if I knew this, then I would have done things differently. If at 15, no, that's got to stop now. It's got to stop now. Same way, we got to pass. We got to invest in the right direction where they're supposed to outdo what we did in a positive term. Reach goals that we reached at a faster rate in a positive direction. Achieve twice as much as we did in a short space of time because technology is more advanced, so they should be achieving more than us. But right now, it's the other way around. They're not even living that long. As teens, a lot of them are passing away. At a young age, they go in prison. But there's a lot more that's available to them, positive and negative. So who's directing, who's driving them in the right direction when they've got so much potential? So part of the reason as to why the cycles keep on going is it's always self. I mean, I'm glad we call this me versus me. Always got to look at self. Like we need to stop pointing fingers and look at ourselves and say, okay, breaking the cycle. What do I need to do? Where am I going wrong? Basically, so that's why I would say, like, figure out what you need to feel. Identify what the problem is, and based on the problem, you'll know what you're gonna need. If you've got a headache, you know you need painkillers. You know, if you're hungry, you know you need food. First thing you know, you need water. So you have to fill it.
That is so true. And you said something about people don't like being alone. And the thing is, when you need to be alone when it comes to breaking cycle. Why do I say that? It's because when you leave a toxic situation, you're alone, right? So that's when you have to appreciate you being alone. Because if you don't appreciate that time being alone, you're always going to be longing for what you've left. So you have to appreciate being alone because, you know, okay, let me give an example. We did Me versus Me on Church Hurt. You know, when it was time for me to leave the previous ministry, I was thinking, whoa, can I really start again? Can I really start on my own? Like, I was thinking, whoa, this is, but I know the situation was not serving me where I was. I knew it was time to go, you know, no whatever to anybody. I knew that it was time to go, you know. So when I ended up leaving, hey, guess what? I was alone, but I needed that time alone with God because what I needed redirection. If you tell me, okay, where are you going to be in 2 months? I don't know, but I've taken the step to leave because now I have to do my journey. And that's what it is. You have to think about your journey. When you leave. Is it scary? Yes, but at the same time, it's exciting. You know, I was more excited than fearful because I knew that, hey, where I'm going is going to be a much, much better place because I'm taking ownership now. And that's what it is when you live a negative cycle. You know, you are taking ownership. But again, especially depending on the situation you live as well. Because again, a lot of these things are spiritual. So you really do need to be alone and then find the right the right spiritual connections that are going to help you. But most importantly, it starts with you making that decision, you know, and being aware that, especially if let's say you left, you know, let's say you left a toxic ministry, a toxic relationship, or a toxic family, or whatever, know that spiritual retaliations are going to come. But how am I going to fight this retaliation? Remember that they're going to come after you. Maybe some to pull you back or some to just make you stagnant and make you stay there. All kinds of things are going to be said against you. So what do? You know, and that's, I love that scripture in 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 3. The one that talks about the weapons of our warfare, they are not carnal. Okay, I'm reading from the NLT version. It says, 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 3, we are human. But we don't wage war as humans do. Just listen to this. We don't wage war as humans do. That alone tells you that once I leave, yes, I'm alone, but I have a greater power backing me. I have God with me. So when you leave, oh, you're a fool, you're this, you're that. Okay, you too, you're a fool. What are you doing? So you're doing tit for tat retaliation. That's not going to work. Because behind that, there's spiritual attack that's going to come against you. So you don't throw verbals back at them. That's not going to work. Because they are doing something greater spiritually. Remember that. Because some negative cycles that they're truly, truly demonic. Only the word of God is going to take you out of it. So you have to be careful when you face retaliation. And then he said what? The scripture that says the weapons of our warfare, they are not carnal but mighty. He says what? We use God's mighty weapons, not worldly weapons. Did you hear that? 2 Corinthians 10:4. We use God's mighty weapons, not worldly weapons, to knock down the strongholds of human reasoning and to destroy what? False arguments. We use God's mighty weapons, not worldly weapons. So listen, that's what I'm saying. If you always want to be in a crowd, how are you going to know the God that you have? How are you going to know the God that's able to fight for you, but you want to use worldly weapons? That's not going to happen. So when you leave, listen, if you leave a negative church, for example, negative family, for example, it's not all the time you need to explain yourself. You just need to go. Because once you go, God is also going to prepare you for war. And He's going to war for you. Remember that. Because now you are taking ownership of your life. You have to desire to change as well. That desire has to be there. You know, if you're watching this with that person in the gang, or you always have the risk of going to prison, you know, have that desire to change and look for the sources where your change is going to be helped. Listen, Matthew 7:7, keep on asking, you shall receive. Keep on seeking, you will find. Keep on knocking, the door will be open for you. Once you have that desire, once you have that desire, God is not going to run away from you. You know, He's going to put you in an environment where that help is there available for you. You know, because once you leave the negative cycle, you cannot serve your true purpose in life. And that's a little scripture that if you want to fight with worldly, your mouth and everything, it's not going to work. Worldly, with worldly words. No, you have to see what the word says about you, your destiny. And 2 Corinthians 10:5, it says what? We destroy every proud obstacle that keeps people from knowing God.
Yeah.
We capture their rebellious thoughts and teach them to obey Christ.
Yeah.
But you can say, cast down every imagination and everything that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. You teach them to obey Christ. You see the part that is not backing you. Because there are many of you, for example, in negative churches, you don't know you have that power. You hear this kind of what's being taught, but you don't know that you have that power because the power where you are is fighting against you. You spoke about negative families. Why are you also in a church where everything is working against you and you know that you need to go? But again, Jesus is the person who is scared to live an abusive relationship because what they keep thinking about, oh, what would the partner think? What would the partner think? No, they are abusing you. What do you think they're going to think? They're going to stop you in it. Of course. You don't need to second guess what they're going to think. It's the same thing that you when God is telling you leave that church because it is no longer serving you well, what are the leaders going to think? What is my pastor going to think? Look what I've done. No. What do you mean what are they going to think? You've not gotten help or support from them, but it's not serving you basically, but you are putting them. Again, it's always why should it be the one that's being abused that's always putting the abuser at the top? But he said what? We cast down every imagination. We cast them down, you know. But if you go with your mind, you're always going to put them at the top. Now I can't leave my husband, I can't leave my wife, even if she's abusing me. I can't leave my church because of what I've done. Even though my pastor is there, he's abusing me also. He's always taking money from me, or my life is not improved. You always putting their feelings there. And that alone is toxic and abusive. When are you going to have your own journey? When are we going to fulfill our own potential? You know, none of us are there where we want to be yet. You know, but you have to, again, Patrick said about being alone. You have to be willing to be alone. A lot of it also you don't like being alone. But if I leave my church, for example, maybe for, you know, I don't know where I'm going to go. No, you are home. Just go home. Go home and pray and seek direction. And God will direct you to the right place. Is that fear of being alone again? Is that fear of starting over? But remember, we have a destiny here to fulfill. We've had enough delays already. We want to add an extra delays by remaining in negative situation. That even is not fair. You know, one exercise I did the other day, I don't know where it came from, but I recommend that as well, if you want anyway. When I was thinking about life and if I was thinking about me, my potential, I was thinking about why do, as believers, what do we sometimes we delay ourselves, or what do we think that sometimes we are not good enough? You know, I was just thinking. But then I thought, okay then, I was just speaking to myself, I thought, okay then, if you take yourself out of your body, you know, or you watching me, you, Sandra, Susan, Patrick, whatever, take yourself out of your body and be someone there, and then look at yourself, look at Patrick. What would you say?
Like, he's not talking about projecting.
I beg.
Projection, he's not talking about leaving your body. Like, he's not talking about that. So in case anyone gets any ideas that's not what he's talking about. Yeah, he's being metaphoric. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Nice one. So yeah, if you just think, basically, imagine you have someone else looking at you. What would you say? Oh my God, so much potential. And then imagine that person looking at you 5 years, 10 years later, even if you feel that potential, what would that person say? But Patrick, when I look at you, the wisdom you have. But Sandra, when I look at you, but Susan, the thing you have. Just imagine that now, you know, you come out of yourself as if you are somebody and they look at you, the things that's been said about you, you know, the things that God thinks about you, and now you tell me if you shouldn't fulfill your potential. There are people that are waiting on our breakthroughs. It might not be many from now, but maybe for the level where you are now, there could be just 5 people. But God says it's enough. Because if I'm going to give you 100 the next level, what about the 5 people now that they are just watching you? That's so you might not even know. It could be somebody just watching, like somebody's watching us right now. You might not even know, you know. But somebody can draw from that. So if you can try and do that, you know, and ask yourself, why are you in that situation? You know, if I'm looking at myself, why are you still there? You know, shouldn't you be doing more there? Just picture that. And then tell me if that's not going to make you hungry to fulfill your potential even more. Again, we have a tough task assignment. Patrick said we are the bridge generation, and that's such a powerful thing. We are the bridge generation. Someone, hey, I'm only thinking sermons on that. We are the bridge generation. You know, and the thing is that God knows the task. So I know some of us are saying, but look at the delay. Yeah, I know, but you are being built for something. You have to understand that you are being built for something, because again, when our children are there, some of us, their children are already there, but when our children will come, remember, you have to start that cycle already. You know, even before they come, you have to start a new cycle. So when you're experiencing delay, you know, sometimes it's for a purpose also.
Yeah.
It's for a purpose also. Maybe you think you know what you're about, you don't know what you're about yet. Maybe you think you know what you're about, but maybe God wants you to himself more, so you can find out more what you're about. Because for the next level, again, right now you are fighting to break certain cycles from our families, and you know, and the kingdom of darkness is angry at you, and you want to start a new one now. So let us be encouraged that as long as there's tomorrow, there's always light at the end of that tunnel. Absolutely. As long as there's tomorrow, but remember, you have to desire to break from all these negative cycles, because they don't serve you. You are watching us, you know, you're in a wrong relationship, or your friend is, or whatever. Tell them to watch it, or you yourself, like, ask yourself why. You know, how is this situation serving me? If it's not serving you, then why are you there? Especially if it's not God ordained. You know, you are sitting in a church for 10 years, for 15 years, for 8 years. There's no breakthrough has come. No breakthrough. Employment, rubbish. You start a business, it flops, and then you have the desire to do nothing. That all your desire is to serve the church, but the church is not pushing you to do better for you out there. Then why are you there? You know, because you're thinking about the feelings of the leader. Again, just like the abuser. I don't want to leave my husband. You are thinking about the feelings of the abuser. No, they are sucking from you, but what are they adding to you? So go out and be alone and enjoy being alone.
Oh yeah.
You know, the first step to breaking a cycle is to leave.
Yeah.
Is to leave. Because once you leave, trust me, I always said it, when I left from my place of worship, it's as if a huge cloud left me. Yeah. I was like, why was I even scared to leave before? What was I scared to? Oh, this person's feelings, that person's feelings. No. You have to live a journey. Too much time has gone already. But as long as you're alive, there's, you know, God is able to redeem time. He's able. But only if you are in his will, you know. So don't worry about what you have lost. God is the master of restoration. Yeah. Everything you have lost is still here on earth. So it's going to come back to you. But desire to change. No matter how toxic it is, desire to change. The same way you got yourself in that toxic situation, the same way you can get yourself out of it. It's a decision. You decided to go. You decided to stay when it was time to leave also many, many times. Now you can also decide to leave now and never look back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I couldn't have said it any better than that, really and truly. So that's what it's about, basically. Identifying the cycle, breaking the cycle, putting your foot down the cycle, and never forgetting that a void needs to be filled. It cannot be left empty at all.
Yes.
A void needs to be left empty. So that being said,